In the vastness of Canaan's plains, the story of Abraham continues to unfold, a saga of trust, trial, and triumph, woven into the tapestry of divine purpose. This is the story of Abraham's great test of faith, where the heart of a father faced the crucible of heaven's command. Long had Abraham walked the path of obedience, forsaking the lands of his fathers to wander as a stranger in the realm promised to his seed. His heart, steadfast yet human, had clung to the divine vow, a son, an heir, through whom nations would rise countless as the stars. Yet when the years stretched long and the promise tarried, doubt crept into the tent of Abraham and Sarah, his true and only wife. In their faltering faith, Sarah, deeming her own womb barren, bade Abraham take Hagar her handmaiden as a secondary wife that the divine purpose might be fulfilled. But the ways of men, when straying from the divine, bring strife. Hagar, exalted as Abraham's wife and bearing his child Ishmael, grew proud, her heart swelling with ambition. She scorned her mistress, and jealousy, like a shadow, darkened their once happy home. Sarah, wounded, demanded Hagar's banishment, but Abraham, torn by love for his son Ishmael, refused. Yet Hagar's insolence provoked Sarah's wrath, and the handmaiden fled into the wilderness, alone by a desert fountain. There an angel of the Lord, cloaked in mortal guise, spoke to her, "Hagar, Sarai's maid, return and submit. The Lord hath heard thy affliction, and thy seed shall be a multitude." She named her son Ishmael. God shall hear, a testament to divine mercy. When Abraham's years neared a century, the Lord spoke anew, "Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. With him I will establish my covenant." Abraham's heart, still bound to Ishmael, cried, "Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee!" But God in his grace promised that Ishmael too would father a great nation, though Isaac was the chosen heir. When Isaac was born, joy filled Abraham's tents, yet sorrow shadowed Hagar and Ishmael. The youth, once deemed heir, mocked the child of promise, stirring discord. Sarah, fierce in her love, demanded their exile. In anguish Abraham sought divine counsel, and an angel spoke, "Heed Sarah's voice, for Isaac is the heir. Yet Ishmael shall not be forsaken." With a heavy heart Abraham sent them forth, his soul rent by unspoken grief. But the trials of Abraham were not yet ended. God, desiring to forge a faith unyielding, set before him a test unparalleled in its severity. In the stillness of night a voice of divine urgency uttered, "Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and offer him as a burnt offering upon a mountain in Moriah." The words pierced Abraham's soul like a blade. Isaac, the light of his home, the solace of his aged years, the bearer of the promise, how could he be slain? Satan, ever lurking, whispered doubts. God forbids murder, this cannot be his will. Abraham, wrestling with anguish, sought the heavens, praying beneath the starlit canopy for a sign, a reprieve. None came. The command echoed relentlessly, "Take thy son, thine only son." Only. At dawn, Abraham summoned Isaac, his voice steady despite his breaking heart. "We go to worship upon a distant mountain," he said, withholding the dread truth. With 2 servants they set forth, the wood for the offering borne upon an ass. 3 days they journeyed, each step a torment for the patriarch. His thoughts lingered on Sarah, the proud mother who might never again embrace her son. Nights were spent in prayer, his soul crying for release, yet the command held firm. On the 3rd day a cloud of glory crowned Mount Moriah, a sign that the voice was heaven's own. Abraham's faith, though trembling, held fast, trusting that the God who gave Isaac life could restore it, even from death. Bidding his servants remain, Abraham and Isaac ascended alone. Isaac bore the wood, and Abraham the fire and knife. The youth, sensing a mystery, spoke, "My father, behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb?" The words tore at Abraham's heart, yet he answered, "God will provide himself a lamb, my son." At the summit they built an altar, and with trembling voice Abraham revealed the divine command. Isaac, trained in obedience, stood in awe but did not flee. He too shared his father's faith, yielding to the cords that bound him to the altar. In that moment love and tears passed between them, a final embrace before the unthinkable. Abraham raised the knife, his hand shaking, his soul in agony. But lo! A voice from heaven rang out, Abraham, Abraham, lay not thine hand upon the lad, for now I know thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thine only son. A ram caught in a thicket appeared, a divine provision. With joy and gratitude Abraham offered it in Isaac's stead, naming the place Jehovah-Jireh, the Lord will provide. There God renewed his covenant, swearing by himself, in blessing I will bless thee, and thy seed shall be as the stars of heaven, and all nations shall be blessed through thee, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Abraham's faith, tested in the fires of sacrifice, became a beacon for all ages, a pillar of light illuminating the path of obedience. The ram, offered in Isaac's place, foreshadowed the Redeemer, the Son of God, who would bear the sins of the world. Heavenly beings, watching in wonder, saw in Abraham's trial a glimpse of the divine sacrifice, the King of glory yielding his life for humanity's redemption. Through this act, Satan's accusations were silenced, and the covenant of grace shone forth, a testament to the power of faith made perfect by works. Thus ends the account of Abraham's test, a saga of faith unyielding, of a father's heart torn yet obedient, and of a God whose promises endure forever. In the annals of eternity, Abraham's name stands as the friend of God, his life a mirror of the gospel, his obedience a song sung by the stars.